Tonight on the February 23rd edition of Newswatch, President Donald Trump blocks a trans bathroom protection.
And Iowa State's varieties finals are in full swing.
I have the latest in Cyclones basketball, wrestling, and track.
And the warm weather is gone, the snow is here, and the cooler temperatures are on the way. We'll have all that, including snowfall totals and timing coming up. In the meantime, Newswatch starts now.
Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your night and week. Stay classy, Cyclones.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on tonight's edition of Newswatch. I'm Coley Bergren.
And I'm Rembert. Here are tonight's top stories.
Across the country, Republican senators are facing angry constituents at town hall meetings. As senators return to their home states for the week, protesters and concerned citizens have lined up to voice their distrust. Common themes include the Senate's unwillingness to investigate the Trump administration ties to Russia, as well as the repeal of the Affordable Care Act. Utah Senator and Chair of the Senate Oversight Committee, Jason Chaffetz, criticized his crowd in Salt Lake City for intending to bully and intimidate him. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley faced similar crowds in his Iowa Falls town hall on Tuesday, but stated that, quote, "It's important to have dialogue with constituents."
Yesterday morning, President Donald Trump revoked the landmark guidance to transgender public school students using the bathroom with whom they identify. This reverses an initiative President Barack Obama issued during his presidency. The decision has angered many trans advocacy groups. Director of the American Civil Liberties Union LGBT Project, James Essex, stated that, quote, "Revoking the guidance shows that the president's promise to protect LGBT rights was just empty."
Defensive back for the Cyclones, Mike Johnson, was arrested Thursday under allegations for domestic assault. The victim told police he strangled her with both hands, causing her breathing problems, and as she described it, seeing stars. Johnson has been since suspended from all team activities, including practice.
The Iowa legislature approved a gun bill today that will include a stand your ground proposition. The bill would allow gun owners to use deadly force in cases that protect the lives of themselves or others. The bill would also remove background checks, allow open carry without a permit, and could stop colleges from banning weapons on campus.
After recent events, it's been decided President Leath will not be charged over his use of the university's plane. The investigation lasted 6 weeks, but Leath came out with his hands clean because there was no probable cause to the substantive violation of Iowa law. Leath came under fire for damaging the school's plane after flying it for personal reasons last September.
The student government elections are just under 2 weeks from now. Do you know your candidates? Tisa Tolinar gives you a look at 2 of this year's hopefuls.
Chances are you've seen the chalk art as you're walking across campus. But how much do you actually know about the people behind the chalk? We got a chance to talk to 2 of this year's student government candidates, Cody West and Cody Smith.
A lot of people really don't know about student government. They don't know their representatives. There's a big disconnect there that we hope to bridge, for sure, but there's a lot that we do behind the scenes that no one really knows about.
West is running for presidency, with Smith as his running mate and potential vice president. West is our current vice president and wants to use his experiences to continue to give back to ISU as president.
I've really made student government where the organization that I call home at Iowa State. So I've met with the student body president, Hillary Clutcher, on the first day of school my freshman year, asked her how to get involved, joined a committee shortly after that, became a senator, became vice president, and now I'm running to be student body president. So it's really all coming full circle for me.
Smith is currently a senator and public relations chair for student government. He hopes to continue making Iowa State a welcoming and inclusive community.
As a member of the LGBT community, it's been really a long journey for me to be comfortable with myself, let alone say it in front of people, and I really respect that process, and I get the issues that students face that are sensitive like that. And as I've been able to move through, I really just want students to know not only do I understand those issues, I understand the struggles of paying for a higher education. I didn't come from a family where I could just pay all of it out of pocket.
They are promoting continued and thorough sexual violence prevention and advocacy, solutions to various residency concerns both on and off campus, providing resources to strengthen Iowa State traditions, and reaching out to students to not only make sure they are informed of student government, but to keep themselves informed of student concerns.
We really don't want to make empty promises. We know we can say all these things when we talk to people about what will make them feel good, that we want to ensure students are safe on campus. but we are focused on action-oriented goals that we can actually implement here at Iowa State.
The best way to get to know the people you're voting for is to talk to them yourself.
That's kind of our central campaign promise, is just to bring people together and always have an ear out for what their concerns are.
For ISU TV, I'm Tisa Tolinar.
To learn more about these candidates and the others running this year, visit www.stugov.iastate.edu/elections.
For those born in Iowa, you may need a new birth certificate. The Iowa Department of Public Health says those who were born between May 1993 and October 2009 should exchange their birth certificates for a new one. This is because the birth certificates issued during that time were wall size and therefore do not have enough information to be used as identification. To get a new birth certificate, fill out an application on the Iowa Department of Public Health website and turn it in to the Lucas Building in downtown Des Moines. Also include a copy of the person's driver's license and the original birth certificate. The new certificate will include missing information like where the person was born and the name of their parents.
After the break, Iowa State students get ready for Varieties finals.
Stay tuned, you're watching Newswatch. Welcome back to Newswatch. New sorority on campus, Delta Gamma, had their first annual philanthropy Anchor Splash this past weekend. Anchor Splash is a national Delta Gamma event in which organizations on campus create teams and are coached by members of Delta Gamma. The philanthropy raised money for programs funding visually impaired children and was a great success.
Iowa State's Varieties Talent Competition is hosting the finals this weekend. Our very own Coley Bergren has more.
And then there were four. Varieties finals have finally come. This Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. in the Great Hall, the final four teams in Varieties will compete.
Varieties is a student talent showcase that happens here on Iowa State's campus every February, and it's been going on for 86 years, so it's a really long-lasting tradition, and it includes mini musicals, which are about 16 to 22 minutes long, and it's all original choreography, original lyrics, but to songs and tunes that we know.
This year's theme is Reliving the Legends. Each team consisted of multiple sorority and fraternity members, as well as members of the Iowa State community. These students range from singers to dancers to musicians in the band.
I'd say my favorite thing is just being able to play, I guess, in like a band setting, because I play bass in the band.
Although there's Yell Like Hell in the fall and lip sync in the spring, Varieties is a winter event unlike any of the others.
I love Varieties because it's really unique and it shows students individual talent. Because in show choir and different choirs and plays and music and theater in high school, there's so many opportunities to show your talent. But here, when you get to college, it's harder to get into that, I feel. And it's so great that this is available to any student in the student body. And it's super easy, laid back. You meet a lot of friends in Varieties. And it's just really fun.
Tickets for finals can be purchased online or at the door. Tickets are $8 for students or $14 to the public. For ISU TV with Zach Williamson, I'm Coley Bergren.
Iowa State student Sarah Mater is set to show at Omaha Fashion Week. Omaha Fashion Week is the 5th largest fashion event in the nation. Mater, a senior in apparel merchandising, designed her collection based on her abroad trip to Africa. She'll spend her week at Omaha Fashion, but her collection is set to show Friday, so don't miss out.
Do not miss the epic event called Sustainapalooza. Throughout the time you're there, you can learn and practice sustainable living skills from campus and community experts in upcycling, green cleaning, and wasteless meals. This event will take place on February 28th between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. in the Great Hall of the Memorial Union.
Ames Public Library gives back to the community via a mobile library. Taylor Mankel has more.
In the shadow of Parks Library stands a very colorful bus, or as the Ames Public Library calls it, the Bookmobile. The Bookmobile has been a mainstay in the Ames community for 50 years, and it attempts to offer all things a normal library might, but on a much smaller scale.
I think it gives the city more access to library materials. We do have a fairly sizable budget, and we try to spend it efficiently and on materials that are of interest to all the populations within the city.
Other than the obvious differences in appearance and mobile capabilities, there is a different feel when dealing with the Bookmobile.
I kind of think of the Bookmobile as a small town library in the big city, because it is like a library in smaller bites, and it's a little friendlier, maybe just because it is smaller. We get to know people, and they get to know us, and that makes it fun.
The relationships that are created make this such a special place. Not only can you check out great materials that will give you joy, but you can make relationships that do the same.
And it's just being able to touch their lives in a more personal way with quality materials.
We get to know our customers, so again, that's kind of a customer service thing. It's nice to be able to stock the bookmobile with your customers in mind, thinking, oh, they'd like this book, or she said her son wanted this, or that kind of thing.
So next time you're walking by parks on campus, stop by the bookmobile and say hello. For ISU TV, I'm Taylor Mankel.
If you'd like the opportunity to increase your awareness of inclusion issues and create plans to be part of change on campus, the Social Justice Summit is for you. Going on its 16th year, the Social Justice Summit is an event designed for ISU students that provides them with the opportunity to increase their awareness surrounding issues of inclusion and to develop plans to be part of positive social change on campus. The event is being held this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. in the Memorial Union.
We're now joined by Hayley McPike. What's new in sports, Hayley?
Well, Coley, we have the results of the men's basketball game and ISU wrestling after the break.
Stay tuned. You're watching Newswatch.
Welcome back from the break. I'm Hayley McPike, and here's the latest in Iowa State and national sports. Last Monday night, the Cyclones traveled to Lubbock, Texas for a big matchup with Texas Tech University. The Clones and the Red Raiders went into halftime with a Monte Morris last-second three-point shot to tie the game. Going into overtime, the Red Raiders fell short and lost 82-80. Iowa State improved their record to 18-9 while tuning up for the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City, Missouri, starting March 8th. The leading scorers for the game were Monte Morris with 23 points and 6 assists, Matt Thomas added 20 points and 6 rebounds, Naz Mitro-Long also chipped in with 16 points, and Solomon Young also grabbed 8 rebounds. This Saturday, Iowa State entertains the number 9 ranked Baylor Bears at Hilton Coliseum at 3 p.m. Iowa State's women's basketball team also had a big game this week. The Cyclones went to Lawrence, Kansas and defeated the Jayhawks of Kansas University 90-75. Iowa State was led by Meredith Burke-Hall with 20 points and 8 rebounds, Shauna Johnson with 18 points and 9 rebounds, and Emily Durr helped with 17 points and 8 rebounds as well. Tomorrow night, the Clones will face number 6 ranked Texas Longhorns in Austin, Texas at 7:30 p.m. The Women's Big 12 tournament is also starting soon on March 3rd in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. On Sunday, February 19th, Iowa State's wrestling team lost 40-7 to the number 13th ranked Minnesota Gophers at Hilton Coliseum. The 11 seniors on the wrestling team were honored in their last home match. Gabe Marino, weighing out 149 pounds, tacked on 4 points for the Cyclones. Senior Earl Hall won back points for Iowa State in a 16-9 win against Mitch McKee. He improved his record to 28. The Wrestling Big 12 Championship is on March 4th and 5th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. On Saturday, February 18th, the track and field team ran in the Alex Wilson Invitational at Notre Dame. The men's 4x400 relay team beat the school record with a time of 3 minutes and 5 seconds. The old record was previously 3 minutes and 7 seconds set in 2007. The time helped the Cyclones in the Big 12 now being ranked number 4 in the conference and number 8 in Division I. Tomorrow and Saturday, the Big 12 Indoor Championships will be held all day right here in Ames. That's it for sports. How's the weather looking tonight, Zaine?
Well, Hayley, the warm air is gone. That's the bad news. You can see these are our 24-hour temperature changes. We were in the 70s, right, yesterday. Now we're in the 40s and 50s, and the downward spiral is going to continue tomorrow, plus the snow is on the way, too. We'll have all the totals and timing coming up right after this. Welcome back. If you were outside today, you probably noticed there's a lot different compared to yesterday. All right, our current conditions right now, we're starting to fall down into the 30s across much of the state of Iowa. Down to the southeast, they're still holding on to the 40s. But if you look at our little icons here, you can see basically to the north and western part of the state is where we're starting to see some snow. Areas to the south are still seeing some rain showers out there. That's going to change as we move through the evening hours, however. Here in Ames, we're still at 39 degrees, light rain showers, and our winds are out of the northwest at 17 miles an hour right now. All right, that's kind of part of the deal here. We got these strong northwest winds across much of the state right now, 21 up in Fort Dodge, 24 miles an hour out of the northeast in Mason City. That's going to make a big impact with these snow showers that are moving across much of the northwestern part of the state. I just checked road conditions. All right, so basically areas to the west of Highway 169, north of Highway 20, this northwestern quarter, I guess, of the state is starting to see some snow-covered roads out there. Areas to the southeast are still seeing that rain-snow mix right in the middle part of the state. If we look at the wider picture here, you can see this snow stretches all the way back into the South Dakota and Nebraska, and then off to the south, there's some, yeah, there it is, there's some strong thunderstorms, or at least strong for this time of year, on the lower end of this system too. And as we move through tonight and tomorrow, that area of low pressure is going to track across to the south of Iowa and bring this entire system through. So let's time this out with Future Tracker here. We're going to start off tonight. All right, you can see that snow off to the north and west. Across the middle part of the state, we've got mostly rain showers. As we move through the evening hours, that moves across Iowa, and then by early tomorrow morning, mostly snow out there. All right, this model's just a little bit ahead of itself here. I think probably we're not going to really make that change across much of the middle part of the state until later, maybe 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you're heading off to work tomorrow, probably you're going to head out right in the middle of that changeover. So roads are going to be pretty dicey out there. And then as we move through the day, the changeover entirely to snow, that moves across, and then it finally wraps up across Iowa as we move into the overnight hours, and then skies will clear out on Saturday morning. So this is what we got for snowfall totals right now. Northwest Iowa, anywhere from 6 inches to a foot, maybe localized areas of 12, 13, 14 inches, maybe higher amounts out there. It's a pretty tight changeover here, though. Basically, a line from Waterloo over to Fort Dodge, Webster City, Carroll, Denison is where our tight changeover from 4 to 8 inches is going to be, and then off to the south and east, Des Moines and areas to the south are going to see 2 to 4 inches, and then just a trace amounts off to the south and east. So because of that snow and those winds, we have a blizzard warning in northwestern Iowa. This goes into effect tonight at midnight and lasts through the entire day tomorrow. And then that's going to be where you're going to see county roads, gravel roads, rural areas are going to see a lot of visibility problems because of those winds and a lot of snow-covered roads. Just to the southeast of that, this tan color, that's our winter weather advisory. That doesn't go into effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow. That still lasts the entire day. It's still going to be pretty dicey travel conditions out there, but not quite as bad as the areas to the north and west where there's more snow. So highs tomorrow, though, these are actually going to happen at midnight tonight, and then temperatures are going to fall through the day tomorrow. So basically, this is what you're going to see if you were to look at a map at 12 a.m. And then temperatures will fall through the 30s into the 20s across most of Iowa as we make our way into Friday evening. So tonight here in Ames, a low of 37 degrees, rain early, and then I'll transition into snow late tonight into early tomorrow morning, and then those gusty northeast winds, 25 to 35 miles an hour. Our high tomorrow, also 37 degrees, because that's going to happen right at midnight and then fall off as we move through the day, and then the temperatures will drop and snow for most of the day, and those gusty northwest winds will continue. As we get into Saturday, though, our extended forecast, skies will clear for the most part on Saturday, much more seasonable high of 29. Another chance of snow, maybe a mix comes in on Sunday, and then Monday clearing out, another chance on Tuesday. But into next week, highs are going to be mostly in the 40s, so it's going to be a much more seasonable forecast for the end of February and the beginning of March. Stick with us. We got much more Newswatch coming up right after this.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Rapper Jay-Z will be the first hip-hop artist honored in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. The Songwriters Hall of Fame is an organization dedicated to honoring and preserving the talents of songwriters and has inducted 400 songwriters since 1969, including Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, and many others. When announced, Jay-Z was reportedly over the moon with the news. Jay-Z will be honored with this at this year's 48th Annual Awards.
A wonderful, heartwarming story starts with 11-year-old Jordan Reeves, who was born with one hand, but that hasn't stopped this Finding Nemo fanatic from doing what she wants. She is an innovator who gained fame for her glitter shooting prosthetic, as well as being a CrossFit athlete, a musician, a Girl Scout, and an advocate for young children with limb differences. Jordan preaches you can do anything as long as you try.
A Knoxville high school romantic had an interesting promposal strategy, having police pull over his date. Colby Dowrad enlisted the help of Knoxville PD Lieutenant Aaron Fuller to pull over his girlfriend, Junior Madison Schilling. While Schilling was worried about a possible ticket, Lieutenant Fuller pulled out a poster on behalf of Dowrad. Schilling said yes in the daring feat, and the two will be headed to prom in April. I don't know about you guys, but if my date had me pulled over, I wouldn't think I'd say yes.
And I thought flowers were romantic. That's going to be it for tonight's News Watch.
Join us next Tuesday for more Iowa State news.
Have a good night, Ames. Stay tuned for Ames Tonight.